Welcome to this episode of my VA Disability Claim. How to file VA Disability Claims for beginners, right? That's what we're doing right now. 5-part series. We're part 3. 1, 2, 3. Part 3 is proving the second element, right? Hey, it's another beautiful day today. Another beautiful day. Even if you've already filed 1 million claims, we get it. You're the expert, no doubt about it. Why not watch the video to make sure I'm giving out good information? If it's not good, put it in the comments. Tell everybody, right? Tell your mama, tell your dad, tell everybody. As you should, right? It's always wise to check the foundation. But this is for beginners, right? For people who are not really familiar or confident with the VA disability claims process. So we're not going to run through it and give you all the information, right? We're going to walk down and give it to you slowly. All right. Thank you for watching. As always, we're going to continue to build out this school of information for filing VA disability claims. That was my intention behind this when I started all this, to have a place where people could go and get help at any point in this process, right? A platform that just helps people. That's kind of what we're going for. Check the channel, check the website, get the resources, get the tools. You know what to do. Hey, 5-part series showing you how to build up your claim and then send it off to the VA. And today, in part 3, what we're going to do, fill up that second bucket, right? Remember, there's 3 elements of service connection. We talked about this in the earlier episode, and we broke that down into 3 buckets of evidence, right? 3 buckets of evidence that we're trying to fill up. In the last episode, we filled up that first bucket. Today, we're going to fill up that second bucket. Remember, we got those other videos, part 1, part 2. You can't do step 2 until you have successfully completed step 1, right? So go back and get the proper context. The bucket we're going to organize our evidence for today is the I have a disability bucket, all right? The foundational statement of all VA claims, you see it right there. What you're saying is, I have a chronic disability that was caused by military service. Every claim you file, that's what you're saying. I have a chronic disability that was caused by military service. So what you have to prove is, you have to prove you have a disability. What you have to prove is, we have to prove that the disability is chronic. And then what you have to prove is, we have to prove that the disability was caused by military service. 3 buckets. 1, 2, 3. Keep it simple. Keep it useful. You know how we do it, baby. Shoulders will continue to rotate. What are we going to learn today? All right, today. First, we're going to identify the evidence that we need to prove this element. That's number 1. And then number 2, we're going to show you what that evidence looks like in real life. And then number 3, we're going to show you the tools that you can use to build this evidence yourself, right? This is all DIY, baby. Do it yourself. Take a little guidance and then do it yourself. That's the plan for today. So for migraines, what evidence do I have to prove that this is a current disability, right? Current disability, that's one of the 3 elements. Remember, it's just evidence for each of the 3 elements. That's all we're doing. Evidence for each of the 3 elements. Keeping it simple. Evidence for each of the 3 elements. Put it in song. Evidence for each of the 3 elements. Hey, put it in the song so it stays in your mind long. But that's all we're doing though. That's the mission for each claim that you want to get approved. Provide evidence for each of the 3 elements. So what evidence do I have for migraines? And remember, there's only 2 types of evidence. Only 2 types of evidence, either records or statements, right? Do you have records to prove it? Or do you have statements to prove it? Or do you have both, right? Hey, we don't mind both. Do them both, right? Radio style, both. You know what I mean? So for the migraines, all right. For the migraines, I have a medical record from 3 years ago showing that I went to the doctor, right, for the migraines, that I was having a problem with it. So that 3-year-old statement is helpful, but not for this bucket, right? Those records, 3 years ago, those are helpful, but not to prove a current disability, right? So it's not helpful to this bucket. So we set that to the side. Okay. And if you need current medical records, you can go to your VA medical center to get them, or your private doctor, right? Current medical records just mean records showing that you have a diagnosis of migraines. Going to the doctor, hey, doc, you got migraines. Doctor writes down, okay, you got migraines. How frequently? how severe are they, et cetera, et cetera. That documentation is a medical record of the fact that you have migraines and you're suffering from them. All right, so in this situation, all I have is an old record, and I have not been to the doctor currently. All right, so in this situation, I don't have medical records to use. If I don't have medical records to show that I have a current disability, what else can I use? That's correct. Statements, right? Records or statements. Records or statements. If you don't have records, just use statements, right? So in this situation, I would make a personal statement about my current disability, right? That's what I would do. I'd make a personal statement. I can get someone around me, right? My wife, she can make a statement as well. If you have coworkers who see you suffering from it, they can make statements also, right? So we'll start with that personal statement from me about these migraines that I'm dealing with. Okay, so think about it this way. If I'm trying to make a personal statement about a VA disability that I'm filing for, what tool can I use to help me make that statement in a way that matters to the VA? What tool can I use to help me make a statement about my current disability? That's correct. The rating schedule. Come on now. We love the rating schedule. You know what I mean? We love the rating schedule. We have many videos on this channel about the rating schedule, about what it is, how to get to it, how to use it. This is the tool that we're talking about that you can use to help you build your evidence. The rating schedule, incredible, right? I mean, the rating schedule is like, it's like a teacher giving you the answers to the test right before the test. The rating schedule, it's like having see-through binoculars, you know? Hey, this rating schedule, I am a big fan of it because it kind of, again, it's about gathering evidence, yes, but it's about gathering the right evidence. And the rating schedule spells out what is the right evidence for this specific disability. I mean, it don't get any more useful than that, right? So, rating schedule for migraines. Rating schedule for migraines, right? I'll say, so we read this, right? We see it up here. And they rate migraines prostrating attacks, right? Is it prostrating attacks once a month, once every couple months? Prostrating attacks once a month, once every couple months. So as I read that, what stands out to me is they're talking about severity of the migraines and they're talking about frequency of the migraines. That's how they rate it. How severe are they? How frequently do you have them? Right? But we don't know this unless we look at the rating schedule. Look at the rating schedule, try to get an understanding. How is it based off of, I know for hypertension, it's like blood pressure readings, right? Systolic and diastolic pressure. For somebody like your shoulder, your knee is flexion, right? How much can you move it without there being pain? But the rating schedule, again, for your specific disability will let you know exactly what evidence you need to present, right? It's about gathering evidence, yes, but it's more so about the right evidence. Okay, so for me with these migraines, I have been having the prostrating attacks that they talk about. Prostrating just means the migraine is so severe that I have to lay down. To prostrate is to lay down, right? It's, you know, a lot of that Yoruba culture, things like that, a lot of prostration. So I do have prostrating attacks. And in terms of frequency, I get a prostrating attack about once a month, I would say. Right. And also pro tip, right? We'll put it up here on the screen. A pro tip for migraines specifically. For migraines, it's good to keep a migraine log, right? A migraine log journal that you keep every time you have a migraine, just write it down. I had how severe it was, right? And then when you had it. Over time, that'll show the frequency and the severity. That migraine log can serve as evidence of the frequency of your migraine. All right, that's why a migraine log can be helpful. Again, it can serve as evidence of the frequency of your migraines. All right, so that's just a pro tip. All right, we come back to this scenario. The evidence that I have for migraines is an old medical record, a personal statement from me, and a lay statement from my wife, right? Records or statements. If I had a migraine log, I would send that up too, but I don't have one. So I'm going to send up the personal statement from me talking about what's going on and a lay statement from my wife talking about what's going on. All right. And now I could just add this to the claim statement that we already worked on, right? Episode 2. For each condition, remember, we asked that you send up a statement for each condition that you file for. People will say, oh, that's too much. Is the monthly compensation too much? I mean, come on, this is life, baby. I'm a parent. I don't do a lot of coddling and ass kissing. I don't do none of that. You either gonna put in the work to get the thing or you're not, right? We'll be okay either way. Either you're gonna do it or not. But if you're gonna do it, this is how you can do it simply, all right? So, the statement that we have so far, let's take a look at it, right? Here we go. So far, we'll just read it off. I have migraines that were caused by a head injury I suffered in the service. There is an incident report in my file from Shaw Air Force Base, June of 2006, showing that I had a head injury. There are also records in my file showing that I went to the doctor for headaches while I was stationed on Shaw Air Force Base after the incident. Right? That's the in-service event. And we're telling you, here is the evidence also. Come on now, we're trying to make this thing easy peasy. All we're going to do is add this little piece about our current disability to this statement. All right? And what we talked about, pretty much, this is the format for the current disability sentence. Because of this condition, I am experiencing these symptoms. Keep it simple. Because of this condition, I am experiencing these symptoms. All right? So because of my current disability, I have migraine attacks so severe that I have to lie down. I have had these prostrating attacks once a month for the past 6 months. I have included a personal statement detailing my symptoms, and I have included a statement from my spouse describing my current symptoms. Come on now. Come on now. Keeping it simple. Keeping it simple. Because of my current disability, which is the migraine, I have migraine attacks so severe that I have to lie down. It addresses the prostrating, right? I have had these prostrating attacks once a month for the past 6 months. It addresses the frequency, right? Severity, frequency, addressed in the statement. And also, I have included a personal statement detailing my symptoms, and I have included a statement from my spouse describing my current, also letting them know, hey, this is the evidence, the statements to support it. This is what's currently going on. All right, and that's what we have so far. Right? We're only 2 buckets in. We got 1 more bucket to go, but the statement is looking kind of fly already. You know what I mean? The statement is looking pretty solid. There is a piece missing though. If you understand the claims process, you can clearly see there's a piece missing to it, right? But it does look pretty good so far. And we would just do the same for each of those other conditions, right? We're also filing for a knee. We're also filing for a back. We're also filing for hypertension, right? If we talk hypertension, current disability, right? Do I have records or statements? For hypertension, I'm still going to the doctor for it. So I'm frequently going to the doctor to get blood pressure readings and medication as well. So I would just add that same format. Because of my hypertension, I'm getting frequent blood pressure readings, going to the doctor frequently for it, and also using my medication continuously. That talks about the current symptoms, right? But you would also want to go to the rating schedule to see if there's anything additional that you can add about what's going on right now. A lot of the times the things that are going on with us, it's tough for us to articulate because we're not doctors, all right? That's why we use the rating schedule. We can read, you know what I mean? I don't got to be a doctor. I can read though. And I can say, if I don't know what the word is, I could Google it. You know what I mean? Again, like you put in the effort, you'll get out everything that you want, right? But that's how we're doing it. Keeping it simple, keeping it useful, right? What evidence do I have to prove that I have this current disability? What evidence do I have? Is it records? Is it statements? Keeping it simple. Also, looking at the rating schedule, right? How does the VA evaluate this disability? You want to know what matters to the VA. It's about gathering evidence, yes, but it's more so about gathering the right evidence, right? The right evidence for each of the 3. See, that's what it's supposed to be. I'll drop it and you finish it. I throw the alley-oop and you bang. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. All right. So we just answer those simple questions, and then we use those answers to help us build out that claim statement. Always send a statement up for each disability that you file for. Tell the story of your condition so you can make it easier for whoever's going to evaluate that claim on the back end, right? Make it easy. Let's make it easy. So we've showed you the evidence that you need to prove that second element. We showed you what that evidence looks like in real life, right? That statement, right? You can use records or statements, right? And we showed you the tools that you can use to help you build that evidence, to help make sure you address the right evidence, right? We're setting this up for a VA claim. So how does the VA evaluate this condition? This is what the statement looks like so far. We got it right there. Take a picture, you know what I mean? If you want to pose with it and all that, we get it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Follow the steps and get the results. That's what we're trying to do. Also, part 4. We're going to do